guys? Welcome back to the channel, and for today's video I wanted to give you guys my review on the mutant savior himself, Magneto. Now this review right here took me a little while to make, mainly because I wanted to test out Magneto as much as possible before I go ahead and give you guys my thoughts on him, okay? Because he is a character that has a really big initial buy-in of 6,600 crystals. That is no joke for a free-to-play player or even a freemium like me, okay? That is still a lot of freaking crystals. You do get some of it back, however, you have to have the initial buy-in, which will take you months. So I know a lot of people are going to be wondering, does he live up to the name of being Magneto, and is he worth that initial buy-in? Because he's not a tier 2 native like Wolverine, so that means he's not going to be super OP across the board, guaranteed, right? He's just a regular tier 1 character that you can tier 2. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you guys my opinion on Magneto as a character. Now before I go ahead and start, guys, I'm a really big Magneto fan. However, I'm going to try my best not to be biased here, because Magneto, although I feel like he's an A+ character and he can do well in every single game mode, there are a few things that I think he's not going to do very well at, and I will let you guys know in this video as well. Okay, I'm going to give you guys both sides of the coin, and like always, this is just my opinion, and you guys can make your own decision and decide for yourself if he's worth it to you, okay? So we're going to go ahead and start with his leadership right here, the Mutant Savior. Very fitting leadership, okay? And the leadership bonus is also very fitting. Mutant allies get an increase to their attack by 45%. This leadership, as of right now, in terms of usability, it's only at a good. It is a great leadership for the fact that it gives you 45% increase to all attacks. However, in terms of usability, it's only at a good, because there's only about 4 characters that will really benefit from this, right? We're eliminating Beast from the list, and we're eliminating Cyclops, because they both have leaderships that when you use them, for the most part, you're going to use them as the leader. So you're only going to be left with characters like Jean Grey, Wolverine, Rogue, and Storm. So as of right now, there's only 4 characters that can really take advantage of this leadership. So in terms of usability, it is a good. However, since we have the big names already in the majority of the core members of the X-Men group, and we have the main rival for the X-Men, you can bet your ass that we're going to be getting characters like Sabretooth, Mystique, Juggernaut, and so on in the future. Hopefully, if everything goes well on Netmarble's end. And yeah, so definitely a good leadership right now. However, it has the potential to be amazing. Definitely a very fitting leadership for Magneto as well. Tier 2 passive right here. Increase damage dealt to human characters by 80 friggin %. Now this right here is actually insane. An 80% increase to damage to human characters. Almost 75% of the characters in the game are humans. So that means once you tier 2 this guy, he's gonna be dealing 80% more damage to pretty much every character in the game. And a lot of the OP characters like Doctor Strange, Sharon Rogers, guess what? They're humans. For the most part, they're significantly stronger than Magneto, but with this tier 2 passive in play, there is an opportunity for an upset with this guy, okay? Definitely someone to be careful of when you go into PvP situations and you see a tier 2 Magneto. If he's built well, he might actually just kill you before you get a chance to get going, okay? Increase to skill damage and bonus damage is also really good. He also gets an increase to all buffs by 10% and their duration by 20%. So this right here is similar to what Rogue got in her tier 2 passive. However, this is a significantly better tier 2 passive than Rogue's. However, it is more for PvP than it is for PvE, because the world bosses as of right now are all aliens. So Magneto is not going to do that much more damage to them once you get into tier 2. However, he can still clear them all. So there's not really anything for you to worry about there, okay? Definitely a really good tier 2 passive. Probably one of the best I've seen in a long time, and it is very fitting because when it comes to Magneto, you guys know that he draws a line in the sand of blood, human blood, okay? 5 skill right here, as you guys can see, he buffs his all attack and all defense, and he gives himself some more all speed. This is a very, very good 5 skill, probably the best skill in his kit, and that actually is crazy because the entirety of his kit is actually really good, and we're going to get into that in a second. But take a look at the fact that he has a really good leadership that buffs his damage significantly, tier 2 passive that bumps it crazy amounts, and he has a 5 skill that gives him even more. So definitely a skill that you want to level up and use as much as you can. And this skill right here, unlike most characters that you see in the blast category, Magneto doesn't have any kind of burst damage in his kit. However, this skill right here, once you get it to max skill cooldown, you're going to have 5 seconds. And the skill lasts for about 5 seconds. So you can keep this up pretty much all the time. And this skill actually has a really good amount of damage behind it, and it can actually work as a way to CC the enemy, because unlike most blast characters, Magneto doesn't burst down the enemy. He slowly chips away at them and pick them apart with constant damage over time. It's really cool to see this skill in action, because this skill, for example, when you go into World Boss mode, there are certain situations where you can go up against the boss and you're about to use a skill and they'll use another skill and that will cancel out your skill completely. This skill right here is really hard for anyone to cancel it, to be honest, because the animation for it is super fast, and if the enemy jumps into an iframe, when they come back out of the iframe, the skill is going to immediately start targeting them. It's actually really cool. Okay, love this skill right here. And on top of that, guys, the buffs cannot be removed. Okay, there's something that is not listed here, and that is the fact that this skill, the buffs that it gives you, is actually a refreshing buff. And what I mean by that is kind of like how Odin's guard works, where every few seconds the guard will refresh. For Magneto, this is actually every second. If you ever use this skill, take a look at the animation for the skill and you will notice that it just constantly flickers on and off like a light bulb, which means that the buff that you're getting from this skill is just constantly going on and off, on and off, on and off every single second. So if you go up against someone like, let's say, Rogue, since I've mentioned her earlier in the video, where she has a couple skills that can actually remove active buffs, if she does that to Magneto's 5 skill, the buff will go away and then come back immediately. Whereas some other characters, they give themselves a buff, and once that buff is taken away from them, it's gone until that skill comes back off cooldown. This one right here, I've tested it several times, and every time I get debuffed, it just comes right back on, literally a second later. So this is actually a really cool skill. I'm not sure if that's how Netmarble intended it to work, and if you guys have different experiences with this skill, let me know in the comments, but that's how I found that it works for me. It's actually really cool. Now this skill right here is a full iframe. It has a guard and it deals damage. 3-in-1, guys. Love it. Okay, full iframe, 8-second guard for 8 hits, and it deals damage. Need I say any more? And it actually deals pretty significant damage too. Okay, this is a really good skill, probably one of the first ones that you should max out when you get it. 4 skill right here, reminiscent to Lincoln. Okay, it is pretty much the exact same as Lincoln's 4-star passive rather. Let me go ahead and find this guy and I will show you guys what I mean. There we go. The only difference is Magneto's does a little bit more damage. As you guys can see right here, when enemies are within 4-meter range, he deals a little bit of lightning damage to them. The same thing is the case for Magneto's 4-star passive, right? Magneto deals a little bit more damage, and when the enemy comes within a range of him, he will do this little burst of energy, and that will push the enemy away from him to give him some range, because Magneto is a character that fights from range. So never ever use this guy and take him into close quarters, because outside of his guards and his iframes, he's very squishy, and rightfully so. He is a blast type, and in the comics he is an old man. Okay, so frail bones. Okay. All right, so let's go into the 3 skill right here. Really cool skill. Has a bind and an iframe. Need I say more? Has a bind and an iframe. 2 skill right here, similar to freaking Lincoln's 4 skill, Singularity's 3 skill, and Sharon Rogers' 5 skill. It is a stun lock skill that you can use to CC the enemy into oblivion. Unlike those other characters that I mentioned, it also decreases their all defenses. So he has buffs and he has debuffs. Love it. Absolutely love it. He's a very unique blast type. I actually love it. Okay, I'm happy he's not a copy paste of someone like Yellow Jacket, even though that would have been really good. I like that he's unique. Okay, this skill right here, it is an iframe and it has a little bit of CC to it, where Magneto grabs the enemies, pull them into the air, and then slams them down on the ground. Very good skill. Now, as for the overall kit, guys, Magneto is going to be a character that deals a lot of damage over time. So game modes like Extreme AB, he's not going to excel there. He's going to take his time, and you may be able to get over 100k, but you're not going to get Doctor Strange, a Sharon Rogers, Wolverine type scores. Okay, you're not going to get them. So that's why I said early on in the video, there are certain things that he's not going to excel at. Extreme AB is one of them. With this build, looking at it, I can honestly tell you, mainly because of the tier 2 passive, that Magneto is going to shine like a diamond. Shout out to Rihanna. Yeah, like a diamond in PvP. Okay, PvP is gonna be the home of Magneto. So Conquest, Battle World, Timeline. If you play him on manual, he is an absolute beast. Love it. Okay. Now, as for his gears, guys, he has some decent gears. He gets energy attack and attack speed on the first gear. You want to roll for something like I have here. Energy attack per level for the first two, and energy and all attack for the others. Next one right here, all defenses. Love it. Sadly, we got movement speed, but you know what? We got all defenses. That's going to make him a little bit more tanky. So right here, I rolled for energy defense per level and all defenses for the others, okay? Next one right here, we got skill cooldown and crit damage. A very, very good slot. You got two really good stats right here, okay? So definitely want to roll for HP per level, and you can go for HP per level in the second one as well, but since I got the highest numbered value in the second slot, I left that there and rolled HP for the remaining slots. Fourth gear slot right here, crit rate and ignore defense. So he definitely has some very, very good native gears. As you guys can see, the only thing he's missing is HP. The only thing he's missing. So for right here, I mixed it up a little bit. I had some attack speed, some crit damage, and a little bit of ignore defense. Similar to me, this slot for you is going to be where you decide what you need based on what your cards are like. I don't have a lot of attack speed coming from my cards, so I put a little bit of attack speed here, but ideally I'm going to re-roll that to probably ignore defense depending on what I settle on for the obelisk for him, right? Because the obelisk that I have in mind for him is actually max HP, because I want to make him a PvP character, so I want double max HP and invincibility, or I want max HP, ignore defense, and invincibility, or my third choice, max HP, crit damage, and invincibility. Best I've gotten so far is this one right here. Max HP, crit rate, and invincibility. And although this is a really, really good PvP gear, the invincibility is just a little bit too low just because of how much I like Magneto. For anybody else, I would have slapped this on no problem, but just because of how much I like Magneto, this is what I wanted to put on him. I'm going to tell you guys, do not put a damage proc on Magneto. You're not going to see that noticeable of a difference. Trust me when I say that. Go with invincibility and put him in PvP, and he's going to annoy the hell out of everyone. And the only kind of advice I can give you is stay away from the enemy when the fight starts, because Magneto is like starting a car. There's a bit of a startup to him, but once he gets into his rhythm, he is pretty much unstoppable, okay? If you have him with someone that can remove debuff like Wasp, even Doctor Strange, can't stop him. Honestly, I can tell you that for sure. As for ISO set, guys, Power of Angry Hulk is what I went with. However, you can go with an HP shield, and that will work too because he's a PvP character. But if you want to use him across the board, so World Boss included, go ahead and go for Power of Angry Hulk or Overdrive. Don't go for Hawkeye because you have a good bit of skill cooldown right here, and you might just have to roll the 4th gauge slot, and that will tap out for the 36% that you need, okay? Definitely don't go for anything besides an HP shield or an attacking ISO set. That's going to be wasted on Magneto. And I wanted to show you guys the details page really quickly before I forgot. So right here, as you guys can see, I have way more skill cooldown that I need. 39%. I only need 36%. Ignore defense, I have 33%, but I'm going to use the Orus and the 4th gear slot to max that out. Crit damage, 143. Crit rate, 27%. Attack speed, 110%, okay? So to show you guys a little bit of gameplay with him, we're going to take him into one of the places that he doesn't really shine, and that is World Boss, okay? I'm going to take him in, and we're going to go up against Old Man Ebony, and we're going to have a little bit of fun. So we're just going to pick Magneto, and we're going to pick my 3 bottom characters right here. So we'll use Iron Man and Rocket Raccoon. No strikers. Let's go. Alright. Let's have some fun, guys. Now, as for a rotation for this guy, I go 4, 5, 3, 2, 1. And I'll explain that to you guys in a second because Ebony is a little bit annoying. Now, the 4 is an iframe. The 5, not an iframe. If I can get out of this thing. Anyways, this thing is just going to keep me here permanently. Okay, 4, iframe skill. 5, not an iframe skill. This guy, if he gets out, that's one of the things I was talking about earlier. See how he hid inside the iframe when the skill was cast, but then as soon as he got out, he was getting hit again. Anyways, that is distracting me from my point here. 4, iframe. 5, not iframe. 3, iframe. 2, not iframe. 1, iframe. See what I'm doing? I'm making it very difficult for him to target me, similar to how he fights. So I'm pretty much doing the same thing that he always does to he always do to us, right back to him, okay? Very, very annoying way to play Magneto. And when you run into a Magneto in PvP that plays like this, you will see exactly what I mean. When the computer lines it up like this, it is extremely annoying. And that is how I learned this rotation, actually. Like, I watched the Magneto dissect my friggin' characters in Alliance Conquest, and I actually had to record that fight. Like, I saw the fight going down, and I decided, you know what, I'm recording this and I'm gonna watch it over and over and figure out what rotation this computer was using that he could pick apart my team like this. A team that was multiple 6-star tier 2 characters versus just a friggin' Magneto and 2 scrubs. Like, it was actually insane, guys. And after I figured that out, that it was just constantly jumping from iframe to not iframe to make it so that you couldn't target him, I realized that Magneto was a PvP god. Okay? Like, sure, I'm sloppy, I'm not as good as the AI, but this is pretty easy. It wasn't the fastest clear time, and granted I messed up a lot because trying to talk and play at the same time, I'm not that good because I'm a scrub. But if you think this rotation is shit and you have a way better rotation for Magneto, let me know, guys. But that's all I have to share for this one, guys. Like always, thanks for watching. I hope this was somewhat helpful, and I'll see you guys in the comments, boys. Magneto is a god, and I'm out.